Oh. Right. Well, I think microphone. Yep, I can see there's a little thingy down here which tells me that the microphone is working now. So, wow, this is what an absolute pain in the bum. So, look, thanks very much for tuning into my live stream and for everyone's patience. I'm just going to wait for a little bit for a few people to arrive, and hopefully we can get going. So I think the microphone is working now, and whoever that is who's just all you guys just come in, if you can just give me like a little thumbs up in the chat, please, that would be really cool, because I kind of lost the plot a little bit trying to get the microphone to work. So if you can give us a little thumbs up to tell me you can hear me, and we can get started. Yay! Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Yeah. So look, welcome to my channel, Cornish Chris. My live stream is about as successful as my catch rate in salmon. So thanks very much for tuning in, and also thanks to everybody for your amazing support, because about 2 years ago I started recording my fishing, and the first few videos I ever made were absolutely appalling, and I think they've got steadily worse. But I've enjoyed the process, and I've really enjoyed interacting with everybody. So, and also, we've done like 1,000, over 1,000 subscribers now. I can't believe it, really. But I really, really thank you for your support and for your feedback. And if you have any burning questions for me, and Theo is asleep next to me here in the caravan, then just pop it into the comments section there, and I'll do my best. Hello to Swede Hunt. That's Matt's trick. Yeah, hi, Matt. Also, hello to Ian. Thanks very much for joining me. And Andrew, nice one, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, so I have got a few questions already. I was asked by someone. Who was I asked by? See how blimmin' typical it is. Pop your questions into my live stream there, and we'll have such a successful time. Yes, a few more people joining. So apologies if you couldn't hear me on the first 2 tries. The microphone was disabled because I'm also, you won't know this, but I'm also a DJ on a radio station called Tring Radio in Hertfordshire, where my business is based. And we were testing out some new software over the weekend, and with my friend Jonathan, who's joined on the chat. We disabled one of the microphones to make the new software work, and of course I didn't switch it back on, so that's just my fault. Yeah, so pop your questions in there into the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. So I was asked a couple of questions, and the first question was, what advice would you give to a new salmon fisherman, or somebody who wanted to get started? And I think my main advice would be, try not to get disheartened or put off when you don't catch anything. Get some take some time to go and have a lesson or 2 lessons. But really, probably what's the best advice I would have is find a guide, professional guide who does casting, and get them to spend the morning with you. Because the mistake that I kind of made is that I had 2 or 3 casting lessons from when I was up in Scotland, and the casting, that's the big part of it, especially if you come from like trout fishing. But one thing you don't really get taught is the river craft, so to speak, because when I was fishing for trout, I was mainly fishing upstream, the dark art of upstream nymphing. And of course, that's you don't necessarily know how you should, how you should fish. And so I think it's a really good idea if you were to get a full-on lesson or get a guide to come out with you for the for half a day or a day, and get them to teach you everything. Yeah. So all of the stuff beyond casting that I've learnt has come through trial and error, and also the extreme generosity and outright patience of the people who watch my videos, who are saying, Chris, you really should be retrieving a bit more, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be moving, all those kind of things. And so that'd be my advice. Get some lessons, get a guide to spend the day with you or half a day with you, and teach you all of the rivercraft and everything, really. And then maybe you'll be more successful than I've been in your salmon fishing adventures. Cool. Hello to Jonathan, and Simon Gill. Thanks, mate. Thanks for your support. I'm just going to keep coming in with a few more questions. Okay, questions about Theo. All right, this is a question through Instagram. Yeah, Theo is a Cocker Spaniel. He is 7 years old. He's black and tan, and he's quite short-legged. And he's the perfect size for the Caravan. I didn't want a dog to be too big. I couldn't have a Labrador in here with me. It would be just too much. So that's that's Theo. He's a cool guy. He's a fantastic part of my lifestyle. I love him to bits, and I just so pleased to have him with me. That's that one. If you're just joining me, thank you very much for your patience. I had a hell of a time with the microphone settings. What radio station? It's called Tring Radio, and I present and host a radio show called the EDM Show. It's like a dance music show. It's Friday nights, 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. If you want to find information about that, you can listen to it via I think it's internet radio, unless you're in the sort of East Anglia area, where you can listen to it through channel 277 on Freeview and things like that. If you head over to the website tringradio.co.uk and then look at the schedule or the shows, you'll find information about my show. It's 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. That's another part of my sort of lifestyle, and that's a great part of what I enjoy doing. I got some more questions already. These have been coming in through Instagram, and that was what's my camera setup? Well, my camera setup is effectively the GoPros. I really think the GoPro works really, really well. I'm very happy with the setup. Excuse me. Hang on a sec. So it's GoPro Hero 9. I also have, so I've got one GoPro Hero 9. I've got a DJI Mini 3 Pro drone, which I'm really enjoying using. And I've also got a new camera recently. It's not here in front of me, so I can show you. And it's a Sony ZV-1. It's like a vlogging camera. But what I like to be able to do with that is to get really close-up zoom-in shots of different things, such as plants or the river, or really close-up of Theo. There's a couple of the ones where I start the video with a plant, whistling in the wind, or a thistle, stuff that really looks beautiful. And hopefully that will help you. I also use these things called foam windshield. They're like housing. What's it called? Windslayer. That's it. They're windslayers, and they fit onto the top of the camera. And what they do is they prevent you from they prevent that wind noise. You know, sometimes when you're fishing, and I watch a lot of salmon fishing videos, as you might expect. You know, I watch all the boys, you know, catching all their fish all the bloody time. So, you know, I watch these guys. But sometimes, you know, when people are recording videos and they get that really terrible wind noise, these little foam wind slayers you get from Amazon for like £12.99. They work perfectly. Pop them over your camera. I think they come in, you know, different sizes for the different models, and it really reduces the wind noise. And I'd recommend doing that as well. My editing software is CapCut. CapCut, which is the people who own TikTok. I've got a free account. You don't need to have a paid account. So you're not really sharing any data if sharing TikTok, data with a Chinese company is a problem for you. But CapCut works really, really well. And it just means that I can edit things in a relatively simple way. It doesn't require a lot of, expertise, which obviously I haven't got a lot of expertise in that. So that's what I use. I've been asked the question, where do I get my music from? It all comes from the audio library on YouTube. And if you are creating YouTube videos, I would strongly recommend just go to the YouTube audio library, use their music, because then if there's any copyright, there shouldn't be any copyright issues. Okay, and my favorite artist on there is Chris Hagen. So all the sort of like plinky plonky music that I play, that sort of country and western folky type vibe. That's what I like to use for my salmon fishing videos. I do. I do try not to. What was I saying? Hang on, I'm just reading something. So, hello, I'll shout out here to CF Fishing. Thank you so much. I'm hoping to join you in October. I'm still looking at my dates, so thanks for that. Hello to Dennis. Just a few comments here. CF Fishing on way back from days fishing in Loch Etive. Poor day, lost a big pollock in the kelp. Sounds painful. Simon says, my first year chasing salmon, had a cracking sea trout on the Tyne earlier in the year. Have a trip to the Erne in October, hoping for my first salmon there. Main run back end of season, apparently. Yes, I'd agree with you on there. My good friend Chris invited me up for a week, but it was really, really early in the season. And when I put the video out of those 3 days, everyone said, "Oh, it's more of a back end river." So yeah, maybe I can hit up the Erne on the way up to Perth. That'd be amazing. Dennis says, no salmon for me yet this year. Had 3 sea trout one morning 3 weeks ago on the River Weir. Oh, congratulations. Yeah, well done. And Jonathan says, please can you give your camera white, very misty? Thanks, mate. Yeah, probably is. How's that? It doesn't look any different to me, I must admit. And Jonathan says Jonathan Hope says he loves watching my videos. So thank you, mate. Thank you very much. Right. Another couple of questions that have come in about my lifestyle. If you're interested, I live full time in a caravan. It's called full-time touring, which basically means I travel all around the country. And I've been doing this now since October 2021. And I love it. Absolutely love it. The rough sort of like potted history to my life is I was single and I decided to go to I decided I didn't want to go and rent anywhere, and so I instead I thought, well, I'm going to buy a caravan. I bought a cheap caravan, and on that cheap caravan I just spent like a year in it, seeing if it was something that I would enjoy, and absolutely loved it. And so what I've done very recently, and I'm going to do a caravan tour for those who are really interested in caravanning. I'm going to do a caravan tour in a few videos time, but basically I've upgraded my caravan. I'm now in a twin axle Bailey Barcelona Unicorn, whatever it's called, and it's just got a bit more room. It's got a much better heater in it. I remember when I was up on the Spey in March this year, you know, it was super cold, and I was like huddling around a 3-bar heater effectively in 5 layers of clothing. The new Caravan has got this kind of like central heating in it, so hopefully that will be better for me. Dennis asked, what's my favorite malt? Well, I'd say I don't know if this is going to be popular or not, but this is my choice. I really love Glenlivet, and it's the, what's it called? Founders Reserve single malt Scotch whiskey. Yeah, that's my favorite tipple. Although of late, because I just had my birthday, I've been given a bottle of Irish whiskey as well. Okay, which it is really nice. Other questions? Oh yeah, look, if you're going to get into salmon fishing, producing videos, then do it. That was the other question I had. Is I'm thinking about going fishing, and I'm thinking about making a video, like a YouTube channel. I would wholeheartedly recommend that you do it. You might as well, because if nothing else, it's a great thing to look back on. I look back on some of my first ever trips with great fondness, and I would definitely say that would be something that you should just record it, even if you don't put it online, even if you don't go through the the motions of putting a YouTube channel up and all the stuff that goes with that. Another question I asked was, I got asked on Instagram, was how do I cope with YouTube and negative comments? Very easily. I just say thanks most of the time. Thanks with a thumbs up. If I don't like the comments, I'll just, you'd be surprised. Everybody who's on here so far on this on the chat are incredibly helpful and incredibly supportive, but we do get a few trolls through, and I get things like what I think one chap commented to me: I've watched 6 of your videos so far and you haven't caught a single fish. I like to have fish on, or I like to watch fish on. And I just responded, I'm not the guy for you. Go and watch CF fishing, or go and watch JPS or whatever. Go and watch all the other guys. So that's the question I get about YouTubers. And there's some really, really cool channels out there, including, hands up, big up Salmon Addicts, Lee, and his son Jamie, who took me out on the Upper Delvin a while back, and that's where I fell in. And I understand that Jamie also fell in recently as well, which is sort of poetic justice in a way. So shout out to those guys, and also to Toby, who runs Hardlines Angling. Took me fishing on the Findhorn. He's the really jammy geezer who followed me probably about 10 yards behind me down through a pool and caught a salmon, on the Findhorn. So, get yourself out there, put on all your videos onto YouTube, and let's try to make this less of a niche, because there's very few people who really do sort of salmon fishing videos, from my experience, which is like the whole day. I can think of maybe 3 or 4 now who do it. Normally when you watch a salmon fishing video, it's like 7 minutes long and they're already into it, but for me, I always find that really boring, because for me, as fishing and going fishing, it's all about the experience, the experience of the day. I'll go back to the questions on the chat now. If you've got any questions you want to ask me, or you want to ask Theo, just drop it into the chat, and I'll do my best. CF Fishing says Salmon Addicts are the kings of the Tay. There you go. Dennis says he camped up there in April. Don't talk to me about the cold. Bloody right. Freezing. Simon asks, flies, do you tend to swap and change much, or do you tend to stick to similar patterns or weights, maybe just varying the size or weight? Yeah, probably the latter. I tend to fish maybe with 3 or 4 different colors, like orange and black, yellow, red, and sometimes just black, and I'll vary up the sizes. And the good thing about I'm very lucky and blessed in a way, because I get sent a load of flies. I've been sent some flies by my good friend Mats over there in Sweden, who's on the listening now, and he sent me some amazing flies. If you want to find out more about him and his flies, you can find him on Instagram at fishing_Swede. I'll just drop that into the chat here. Yeah, I quite agree, Dennis. Salmon addicts are catching far too many fish at the moment, and I think what they did is that they took me on the day when they knew they weren't going to catch anything, and then they go back the next day and just scooping up all the time. So well done, Lee. Jonathan asks, what does Theo like to do in the evenings while you're knocking back a malt? Well, Theo likes to do more or less what he's doing now, which is sleeping. And I'm just thinking about showing you what he's doing. Yeah. So that's what he does every night. I was asked recently how much exercise he needs, and the simple answer is as much as I can give him. So normally, when I'm not out with him fishing, he gets 3 to 4 walks a day. First thing in the morning, then we have what do we have? First thing in the morning, then we have a walk after breakfast, right? And then a longer walk lunchtime. Then after dinner, after he has his food, we go and chuck the tennis ball about a bit, or normally chuck the tennis ball into hedges, and he goes off and searches for them. Steve, hi Steve, mad for carp. Yep, thank you, mate. I got it all working. As I explained earlier on in the chat, I also DJ on a local radio station. I do it remotely, called Tring Radio, which is like dance music that I do. And I was trying to use some new equipment with my mate Jonathan down in Cornwall, and unfortunately, I switched off the microphone and didn't re-enable it for some reason. Just reading more questions here. Salmon Addict says we only need one fly, the Willy gun. Brilliant, thank you. And they've just caught 8 salmon and 3 sea trout. Brilliant. So one thing to say, that if you just started salmon fishing on your first day, your first trip, your first cast, you catch a fish, don't tell me. I don't want to know. It's taken me far too long to get more fish than I have had. But here we go. We do our best. So look, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody for tuning in. I have finally got this damn thing to work. And if there's no more questions, let me just have a look. I'll just check on Instagram. Talk amongst yourselves. You already are in the chat. Farm Boy. Farm Boy asks, how did I get into fishing? Well, about 20, maybe 25 years ago, 20 years ago, I got taken to a trout fishing lake by my friend Scott, and we just went fishing. Can't remember really too much about it. We were fishing for rainbow trout in a lake. I caught one or two on my first go, and ever since then, I've just really been enjoying it, you know. So I did rainbow trout fishing for about 3 years when I worked as a rep. I worked in sales, and I was repping, and I was going around to businesses, and then also I would also find time in the afternoon to go to a lake. So that's kind of how it started, fishing for rainbow trout, you know, that kind of thing. And then I suppose I got bored of that, and I decided to move over to trout fishing. Basically Cornwall, Devon, Dartmoor, Bodmin, not Bodmin, you know what I'm trying to say. I was just going into all the rivers, and then back in 2019, October 2019, I think it was, Scott and myself, we came up to Scotland for a boys' weekend away. Too much beer, too many late nights. But what we decided to do is we were going to try salmon fishing, and so we went to the River Nith, and we went salmon fishing, and it was great. Oh, the light's suddenly gone dark. Hang on a sec. That's better. Gosh, 7:30. Steve Mad for Carp asks, any plans for tackle upgrades this coming year? Yes, actually. Well, maybe. My Shakespeare rod, I think I'm probably going to go for something. I might go for a slightly sort of more, I might go for a different rod. Maybe stay with Shakespeare. I was thinking about getting a 13'9" because I've got a 15-foot and I've got an 11-foot switch rod. So I was thinking like a 13'9", just to give me some kind of perspective. But my mate Russ lent me his Guideline double hand. I can't remember the specification. You can see it. You can see it in that video when I was at Tulkan and caught that fish. That was what the rod was, and so the information's on that video. So I was thinking about that. What I have done is I have bought a new life jacket, a new life vest. After falling over in the Tay, even though the it didn't inflate because I fell forward onto my hands. I think that I've got a new life jacket which has got the crotch strap. Because I'm so worried about falling in and drowning and everything, because it's just me and Theo. So better to be safe than sorry, and it fits my the mount that I use very well. Talking of mounts, another question I've been asked throughout the week is what kind of mount do I use, because people are interested. A lot of people have the mount that's fixed to the chest here, and I just find that when you've got your hands like this, doing your cast, this gets obscured quite a bit. So my mount comes from about here, okay, and it just means you get a little bit more vision. So maybe thinking about a new rod, maybe a Guideline rod. But as always, if you've got any suggestions for rods, pop it into the comment section of the video. That'd be amazing. What make are my chest waders and boots, and what soles do they have? That's Dennis. I'm using Sierra waders, the basic bog standard cheapest ones. And the wading boots are the same. They're like 75 quid. They're felt, and I put put the cleats in them. I did actually, when I was on, was it Tweedswood, where the sole of my boot came off? Can't get any better than that. Sole of my boot came off, and the ghillie lent me a pair of wading boots, and they were rubber soled. And I've never slipped and slid as much as I had in those boots. So I'm just sticking with the felt sole. But I've got this like special treatment in the car, like a spray, that you can spray on for disinfecting your boots, so that you don't take any kind of like diseases with you. I'm pretty strong on that, and also I disinfect my rod and my net. And I do carry a net, by the way. A few people have commented almost in like a scolding tone. I note you've not got a net today. It's like, actually, I do take a net with me. It's just that you never see the net because I never have to use it. Okay, more questions in. Simon said, I've just ordered a new line, Rio Elite Scandi. Do you always fish using a floating line, and various tips to get the depth, or do you ever use actual sinking lines? Well, actually, Simon, through the summer I was just using the floating line, but I'm gonna use an intermediate line, I think, when the water gets a bit higher, because I think I was possibly not getting the depth that I should have got when I was just using the floating lines and the really heavy sink tips. So I'm going to try using the intermediate line, which I've got on that Scientific Angler reel. Yeah, so good question. Salmon Addicts wants to know, will I be taking the caravan to Tulkan, or will I be staying in the hotel again next year? Yes, I will be fishing at Tulkan next year, like I did this year, and it's going to be 3 days this time, and I'll be filming every day, and hopefully I'll be able to fish on every one of the beats and producing that for the channel. And yes, I'll be taking my caravan because it is my home, and so my home on wheels goes everywhere with me, just like the dog. Anyone having problems with running line coating split? So CF Fishing's asked, anyone having problems with running line coating splitting? I did. I had the problem with the Airflo running line after a year's worth of fishing. Yeah. And I just replaced it. I think I got a Rio running line in the end to replace that. But yes, it happened to me on the Airflow, I think it was. Hardlines Angling says, I can point you in the way of a custom rod. Yes, if you want to see like the Porsche of custom rods, it's like really tricked out. It's like Pimp My Rod. Then check out Hardlines Angling and check out his brand new rod. Toby's just seems to, it just looks, it could be made of diamonds. It's that incredible. Salmon Addicts recommending the Mackenzie NX1. Didn't it break? I thought your rod broke. And Colin from CF Fishing says, by the way, rain and storms have finally arrived in Scotland. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Just a couple more questions that I had to come in. And if you've got any more questions, put them in the chat. I'll just pick these ones out a sec. Yeah, towing a caravan. Another question got asked about towing a caravan. Yeah, I find it really easy now, towing. I drive a Shogun, so very simple to put it in cruise control and off you go. It's very, very simple. Another question I got asked is, what's it like in the winter? Well, I'm hoping this winter's going to be amazing in the new caravan, because in the old caravan it was bloody cold. Yeah. So look, I want to say I can't see any more questions coming in through the chat. So I'm conscious of everybody's time. Thank you very much indeed for your patience and for your enthusiasm, your comments, your likes, subscribing, and generally for just being such decent people. I think that I've been extremely lucky in this salmon fishing kind of adventure, in that I've met so many incredibly, wonderfully generous people, generous of their time, generous of inviting me to fish on different beats, generous in products and helping me out, and countless amounts of advice. And I do thank everybody for the advice. And I know sometimes it looks as though I don't actually listen, because the advice keeps coming the same again and the same again, but I do take it on board. The way that I produce my films, and this is quite important, the way that I produce my films is that I will go and fish for like 2 or 3 weeks or longer, or maybe do 3 days and then have some time off, then 3 days and then work, etc., etc. And then I put them out and schedule them. So sometimes a few people have commented, hey, last week I suggested you do this, and you're still not doing it. It's like, I won't be able to, because I would already have scheduled that film and had already done it. And also somebody, I won't call his name because he's a bit of a troll, commented on one of my videos where I put up a photograph saying, I'm going to be, my video is coming out on Sunday, salmon fishing on Sunday. I think it was for the Glass and Farah, and he put, you can't fish in Scotland on a Sunday. And obviously that you got confused. But in general, everybody's been extremely welcoming, friendly, and helpful. Well, guys, thanks very much from me and from Theo, who's still asleep after he's just had the tennis ball chucked about. I'd like to say cheers and proper job. Thanks for tuning in. And another video coming probably in about maybe 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah. Proper job. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Steve. Cheers, Toby. Thanks, Dennis. Cheers, guys.